Okay. They about to.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi, everyone.
The door. You can move this hard ass seat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 7:30. Welcome to all of our board and citizens for being on tonight.
That's yours, man.
And it is my hope and prayer that we'll make this a productive meeting. We'll begin our meeting now. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call vote, Madam Clerk.
Okay, good evening. Alderwoman West,
Present.
Alderwoman Tapp,
Here.
Alderwoman Reed,
Present.
Alderman Carroll,
Present.
Alderman Thomas,
Present.
Alderman Christian,
Here.
Alderwoman Dales, Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Present.
and then I see City Attorney Dorothy White Coleman. Yes, I see her.
Yes.
Okay, Police Chief Eiler is here, I think. And I'm the city clerk and the mayor is here and the city collector is here. Mayor, everyone's here.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda.
Hands up, man.
Either my speaker is turned down low or I'm barely hearing people.
Check the chat for the hands. You got two hands
Dinah
up.
Tapman's hand is up on top.
Okay.
I can barely hear Dinah.
Alderwoman Tatman.
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
To amend the agenda to
To
say
remove
what?
resolutions 2020-9 and bill number 2599
Okay,
under new business.
the new business. All right, is there a second?
Alderman Thomas, I'll second.
Yeah, Alderman Thomas. Okay, I'm sorry. All in favor, say aye.
Discussion.
A point of information, Mayor.
All right, what's your point?
You allowing for amendments this time to the agenda?
Not to amend the agenda, but to place something on new business.
To remove.
No, that's not what she asked.
Well, she said to be placed on the agenda under new business.
No, I'm sorry, Mayor. I stated.
But I can barely hear you guys for some reason.
It should be placed in the chat.
I'm getting ready to put it in the chat. Did everybody see it?
Well, I don't.
Not yet, you haven't, you need to press enter, I think.
I thought I did.
Okay. Okay, since I moved to remove item C and D resolutions, 2020-9 and bill number 2599. What are those? Uh,
Under new business.
Okay. Oh, okay. I got you. These are a resolution and bill number 2599.
Yes, sir.
And what is your motion? Your motion, I move to remove items C and D resolutions and blah, blah, blah. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, call the roll.
Discussion.
It's for
Are
discussion.
there any discussion? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, Mayor, I'm gonna raise my hand.
I see you. Go right ahead.
I think Alderwoman Westwood hand up was up first.
All right, Alderwoman West.
It's actually Alderman Carroll, and I'm just, I'm just pointing this out. This is where the discrepancies where certain board members are allowed to amend the agenda, and it's put forth. There was no objection to that agenda, or that motion was not. Typically, when myself or Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott tries to amend the agenda, it's either we're given the explanation that motion's not recognized or the motion's out of order. But again, tonight, certain Alder people are being allowed to amend the agenda. And as I said, I'm just pointing out the inconsistencies that as chair you engage in. And that's all that's all I have.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, I was just interested in the reason for the removal, the explanation for the removal.
Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm sorry. Mayor, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
What I'm gonna do is rescind my motion, and I concur with Alderman Carroll that we did state, because of the sunshine law, that any amendment not be made to the agenda after its place. So I will rescind my motion.
Mayor, point of clarification. It can be made, but you typically as the chair do not honor it. So it's a violation on your part, but it is allowed to make an amendment. So she's within her right to do it. You just don't honor it when I make a motion for the agenda to be amended. That's the point that he's making. So if you would like to keep it on there, you're in your right, but he is inconsistent in honoring those motions when it's, when he should be honoring it. That's the point he was making.
Okay, well, I would like
Alderman Thomas.
I was just gonna say that even if the motion is made, there's still a vote. So, and that was my point.
Okay. Well, may I answer Alderwoman Elliott's question as to why?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm deeply concerned that with the resolution that's being put forth, that I've read in its entirety, that we're moving forward to censure a colleague without giving them an opportunity to face their accuser, without having any documentation or proof of said allegations. And I think, to be fair and giving full disclosure and honesty, that something of this severity, that a person been given an opportunity, number one, to defend themselves, number two, to face their accusers, and to have documentation that would support such grievance. That's why for that one. For D, there's a contract to hire legal counsel. I'm concerned because we already have a contract with legal counsel, which has not been terminated. And according to statute that we have, state statute 79.240, that contract can only be terminated with 2/3 votes, and we haven't gone through that procedure in order to terminate one contract before we enter into another. So that was my purpose for both.
So are you rescinding your motion?
No, sir, since it's allowed and we're gonna try to have a decorum and be consistent, I want to keep my motion on the floor, please. And I wanted to answer my colleague's question. She wanted to know why.
Mayor,
Yes, 1 second.
okay.
Alderwoman Alley.
Yes, I'm just entering my comment for debate. When we held the meeting, although all the members were not a part of the committees, they were present. And with them being present, the artifacts were referenced that were received around the allegations. And there's other artifacts that are available that was discussed at that meeting concerning the conduct. And if she wants to provide some type of statement, you know, during the meeting or after the meeting, but there has been artifacts that support what was discussed. And secondly, both the attorney, the municipal league has both referenced the need for a consultant attorney, which is what the ordinance is for. We voted to have that person, but we had not developed the ordinance for it. So this is the consultant attorney that we voted for. And to answer the question about the August the 12th meeting, the attorney herself would have to go to court to debate the decision that was made that particular night.
Alderman Thomas. You're muted.
You're muted.
I'm sorry. I thought we were going to discuss this when we got to that part of the agenda, but it is very unfair for this resolution against our fellow alderperson to be injected because no investigation has been entailed. I don't know, I'm not sure who wrote this resolution, but I don't believe all the facts have been investigated concerning this. Yes, we did discuss it, but there was no investigation. And as far as the attorney, we have a contract with our current attorney. And yes, it was suggested that we go and we seek outside counsel, but that duty is up to to our chair, the mayor. That's all I have.
Alderwoman Tatman, let's wrap this up and either we're gonna keep it on and just to address Alderman Carroll's suggest that I'm not fair. Alderwoman Tatman was not adding to the agenda. Those things that I objected to were add-ons to the agenda, not deletions. Alderman Tatman, proceed.
No, sir, I just put forth the motion. I have no further discussions.
All right, has been moved and seconded? Who seconded?
Alderman Thomas, second.
All right, call the roll, my dear.
Alderwoman,
Excuse me, point of order. We're voting on the amendment right now. We're not actually voting on the agenda. So we're voting on to remove items C and D right now. And then
Yes,
if this
yeah.
passes or fails, then we go on and move to approve the agenda.
That is correct.
Okay.
okay. Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
No,
Alderwoman
show my
West.
video. Hold on,
I'm sorry.
no. I want to show my video since we roll calling. No.
Oh, okay. Alderwoman West,
No.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes. Yeah.
Alderwoman Tatman,
Yes,
Alderman Christian,
No.
Alderwoman Reed,
No.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll.
No.
You have 5 no and 3 yes, Mayor.
All right, motion fails. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Wait just 1 second and I'll call you. Alderwoman Reed,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda.
is there a second?
Carol seconds.
I'm sorry, Alderman Carroll or West or whoever it is.
Carol, I second.
Okay then. Is there any further discussion? Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Yeah, excuse me, I have a question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This question's for Fran, and I was wondering, I sent an email about this. I was just wondering how alderpersons are assigned to read ordinances or resolutions. Is there a process to that you could explain, or is that not, or am I asking the wrong person?
Well, they're assigned. In your email that you sent, you were correct. If a person present the ordinance, then if they, present it, then they are the person that read it.
Right.
But on the ones that were on for tonight,
Mhm.
these 2 resolutions, number 07 and 08, this is the
Yes.
second or third time that they were presented. And the first time they were presented, I did call around to find out who wanted to present it. So they were both put on Mr. Thomas because he was the only person that wanted to present them. Then
I'm not disputing that. I'm just curious about the process. I'm not.
the process is exactly as you stated in your email.
Okay.
If a person bring it up, then they present it.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Alderwoman Dales, did you have a statement? You have something you want to say?
I do have a question. I would like to know, I'll put it in. I would like to know what attorney wrote Resolution 2020-09.
I can't answer that. Is there anyone who can answer that? Apparently no one is available to answer that question.
So we
we'll
have,
take a roll call. Wait, what?
I'm not, okay. So we have this resolution. No one seems to know who wrote it. The first time I found out about it is when I was handed the documents, and all the people, the 5 other people have no answer for anything.
Well, let me suggest that we ask those questions when we get to this resolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, we're in the midst of a roll call to approve the agenda. Would you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Yes. Alderwoman West,
I'm sorry.
we're approving the
Yes.
agenda. Okay. Alderwoman Tapman,
No.
Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas,
No.
Alderman Christian,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
No,
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
Yes.
We have 5 yes and 3 no's, Mayor.
All righty. At this time, we will approval of unapproved minutes, board minutes from 10/15/2020. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody got the hand up, don't they?
Mr. Anthony Green is
Mr.
sleeping.
Thomas.
Alderman Thomas.
I make a motion that the minutes from October 15th, 2020 be accepted as written.
Alderman West, I guess. Alderman Terrell.
Carol seconds.
Okay. And been moved and properly second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. So ordered. This time we will, meeting is open to the public with 3-minute time limit. Is there someone from the public who would like to speak at this time?
This is Wanda Lane. I'm sorry, was someone else about to speak?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
Oh, okay. Again, Mayor Heather Shy, I know that we have a time limit on our meeting, but since no one else wants to speak and there's several people online, I'd like to express my total disappointment again with my board that we citizens voted to hold these seats. That was just a waste of time. Regarding, I was looking through the Sunshine Law book and I was trying to find the section. You are the chair, or any kind of adjustment can be made as long as it is put under new business to be discussed at a future meeting. So I think that the issues that the other alder people have bring up is because they wanted to put a whole lot of stuff on the agenda, which you have the right to approve or not approve that. Regarding, I know that Alderwoman Dales is going to address this resolution, but I'd like to ask the chief, when he gives his report, was he anywhere involved, since it was his officer? What were the particulars about that? And regarding your expertise in questioning, were you at all participating in this process? I'd like to know that when you give your report. Regarding the city attorney, I read everything about that. And the contract, the very last paragraph said something about this contract supersedes any other contract. Well, that means it supersedes the contract that we currently have. That's number one. Number two, the reference that Yvonne Elliott made regarding the suggestion from the municipal league, had she been in attendance, and maybe if she just listens to the recording, the executive director was speaking to us, and that statement came right after he said, there are a lot of illegal activities that members of your board are involved in. I am not an attorney. You all need to seek counsel. And it was directed toward the mayor and everybody else who was in the room. That's how that actually happened. Regarding, or if you want to say it had to do with the formation that you all decided to do on this August 12th meeting, that too is illegal as well. I had a 45-minute conversation with the Attorney General's office regarding that meeting. I've received correspondence from the Attorney General's office regarding that meeting. I was given an example of what an emergency special meeting for cause would be like. And based on what I observed, based on what's written, none of what happened at that September 12th meeting would fit into the category as it was explained to me as an emergency special meeting. Therefore, everything that happened in that meeting was zero, just not valid at all. Finally, Mayor, but the most important thing is there are members of the board who are operating outside of
Excuse
their
me, Mayor.
boundaries.
I
Oh,
call for
Mayor,
a point
please.
of order.
Okay, Mayor,
This is
I'll wrap it up in
Alderwoman
2
West. I
minutes.
call for a point of order.
Mayor, I'll wrap it up in 2 minutes. I promise.
No,
I
you
will wrap
will
it up in
not.
2
Your
minutes.
time, your 3 minutes are up.
Alderwoman West,
Her 3 minutes are up. I've been timing.
Alderwoman West, you're out of order.
No, you
Thank you,
and
Mayor.
Wanda Lane, Mayor Lane is out of order.
Thank you,
Mayor,
Mayor.
attorney, state rep, Alderwoman, Wanda Lane is out of order. She has been
Ma'am.
Thank you,
talking
Mayor.
beyond her
Ma'am,
3
you are out of order.
minutes. And every time this happens, you allow her to do this. And it is on your part out of order. You cannot
allowing you to do what you're
continuously
doing now, and
make
that's out of order.
exceptions. Okay, then we won't have a meeting tonight
Whatever
because
you,
I'll keep
whatever
on
you
talking. I will
Whatever you
keep
think.
on talking. And if you cut me off, I'll call back in on the telephone, or I'll call some other people and have them do the same thing. Now, what
I'll
she
be through talking
can
by
do
then.
is wait until the
Mayor,
end of
Mayor,
the meeting
I
and
would like
continue
to
with her
complete
comments.
my
That's what she
conversation.
can do.
We were not able to have public comments at the second half.
Well, but that's too
Mayor,
bad, Wanda
Mayor,
Lane.
I hear you.
You do not
I'm
run
not
bells
speaking to
out to
her.
neighbors in spite of what you
Mayor,
think.
we were at the last meeting. The meeting
Yes, at the
ended
last
without
meeting.
the public,
No, you
without
are
the
the
public
mayor,
being
Wanda
able
Lane.
to
You are the
express
mayor.
their
You
opinion.
are the
So I'm
state rep.
asking for
You are the
the courtesy.
councilman. You are everything
Point of order.
besides Wanda Lane, Jane Q citizen. You know everything about everything. You need to run for mayor. You need
Point
to
of
run
order,
for
please.
something.
Mayor,
That's, or you need
could
to
we
be
go
in
to
contract with the attorney because you know more than the attorney does.
point of order, please? Mayor, may we
Yes,
move on to the next, because what we're doing right now is disruptive.
Right.
Yes, she is
if
very
we can
disruptive,
move
and so
on-
is the mayor.
If we can move on to the next citizen.
okay.
Y'all need to
Ms.
stop
Lane,
this
Ms.
mess.
Lane, I would ask that you would please allow us to move on and come back on
Allow us,
Okay.
really? Allow us.
Yes.
as a citizen, yes.
Alderwoman Tapman, I hear you,
Alderwoman Tapman,
and
I
I
hear
will.
you, and I will.
Thank you. It's my decorum on how I wish to address a citizen, and yes, I did.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Reverend,
Yes, Reverend.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Reverend.
Citizen Lane, there's another spot at the end. Let me see.
It's the,
It is.
Well, I don't,
Okay, you
ma'am,
can
my
come back at the
question
next
is,
public comment.
No, you will not
Will we-
continue, Wanda Lane.
my
This will not
question,
happen.
Mayor,
I
Because
don't
she's
care
is,
not gonna
what
will
stop
your
this
talking.
question
meeting
is. So
end?
you keep on talking to the mayor, and I'll keep on talking. Yes, I would be rude. I would be all of that. Whatever you choose to call me, Wanda Lane, mayor, attorney,
Miss Lane,
councilwoman,
you can come back later.
whatever.
Is there anyone?
Okay, Mayor.
But
Is
you
there
don't
anyone
stop
else
this.
who'd like to make a
Both are going to
comment,
stop
please?
this.
Anyone from the public who would like to speak?
Yes, this is Catherine Mason. I live at 1030 Downell.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Alderwoman Elise Daly and Joe Raven. And I'm sorry, did I do it?
No, go right ahead.
And Simi for getting my lights turned back on in front of my house. And I'd like to tell whoever is listening that if you have a problem with your light, call City Building Department, not the Ameren UE, because Ameren doesn't do anything. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else from the public who would like to speak?
It's Anthony Green from 9228 Ward Off. I just wanted to, I guess, thank the building department. They're working on looks like Newbie Street. I know we talked about that in prior meetings, or at least I made a concern about Newbie. So I think they've done some more road work in that area, and I thank you for that. And I guess my other concern is just really to reiterate what the other citizens said. It looks like a lot of the lighting has been restored, I guess, for street lighting for various streets in the area. I don't know if we've used better bulbs. It just seems like some of the lights are very much brighter now. I don't know what's the difference between the last time, like a month, 2 or 3 months ago and now, but the lights look like they're actually better illuminated. I guess there's been some change out of the bulbs, so that has helped as well in terms of safety. My other last concern is just, and I think it's really a combination of various cities, but there's actually 2 issues. One is speeding. I would love to hear what our metrics are about speeding in the area from the police department. I don't want to prioritize it over crime, true crime, but I would love to hear what metrics we have going on for speeding. And then also littering and trash in the area. It seems to be a big issue for that. What kind of marketing to the people, the citizens, are we doing about that as well? Some other questions about that. That's my only items I have is the litter and the speeding, kind of getting some feedback from the police department, more specifically on the speeding. But do we have some kind of broad initiative about the amount of litter that's kind of building up in various parts of Bell Fountain neighbors? Thank you very much. That's it. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes.
This is Peg Warnes. I'd like to talk for a minute about the barrier that is at Crete and Cabot. I'm sorry, my address is 10030 Crete Drive. The barrier there is not complete. And there's been some confusion, I think, about some people telling other people what they're supposed to do and whatever. So I'm going to come directly to you. The street department needs to come in and install a bollard so that cars cannot go around the barrier and through my neighbor's yard. And the bollard and all of the materials that the street department needs to have, they have them at their office or in their room. All they have to do is just put this on the calendar and get the job done. Otherwise the barrier is just fine, but cars continue to run over his lawn to go around the barrier, which defeats the whole purpose of the barrier. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. If there's no one else, then we'll bring the meeting back. Commission and boards, board reports, Public Safety Committee.
No quorum at the last meeting, so there's no minutes.
Okay. Youth Commission.
No report was included in the packet. Fran, did you get a report for the Youth Commission?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Image and Beautification.
I have nothing to report on for INB at the moment.
Okay. Parks and Recreation Board.
I got a question about that image and beautification, Mayor.
Go right ahead.
Regarding that, I was looking at all the commissions and the duties that they're responsible for, and in our ordinance, in the code that's on the website, and I guess this would be directed to Fran, I don't know, but there's an ordinance for the image and beautification commission, but it's not listed in our on the website, the code on the website. So is there a reason why, or could you give an explanation, or someone give an explanation as to that?
What are you not, what you need an explanation for?
So like if you go look on the website under the our municipal code there under chapter 2 administration, it lists out all the city's commissions, like the youth commission, the planning and zoning, public
So you're
safety.
saying that image and beautification is not listed in that area?
No, there's not. It's not. I couldn't find it in that code. But when I put it in the phrase image and beautification, an ordinance came up that was passed back in 1998, establishing the Image and Beautification Commission. But it's not on the website, and I was just wondering what that whole process or what the discrepancy is with that.
Okay, well, I'm really not aware of that, Alderman Carroll, but I can check into it and see what's going on because, you know, that was put together, as you said, in 1998. So I'm writing myself a note to see. I'll look at it and see what you're talking about. I really.
And I'll give you, it's ordinance number 1777 that establishes the Image and Beautification Commission, and it lists like the duties and the salary or whatever you want to call it, stipend that they receive. But like I said, it's not actually in the code online.
Okay, I really don't know, but I can check on that tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, what was you referring? Where are we on, where are we on?
Mayor, we're at D, Parks and Rec Board.
All right, Park and Rec Board report.
Hi, everybody. It's Martha. You all have the minutes and I don't really have anything further to add. I don't want to delay the meeting. So unless you have any questions for us, it's been kind of quiet at the rec center lately. It's really all I have for tonight.
Okay.
May I have a question for Amy or Martha?
Yes.
Are you all still taking temperatures?
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
Alderwoman West or Carroll?
It's Alderwoman West. Martha, my question is, there is a young lady who has partnered with Toys for Tots, and she's gonna need a room in December to dispense those toys. And so I'm asking you, along with the board at this time, to give us permission to use a room at the rec center. And I'll have to get with you on the date of distribution later, but right now I'm asking for permission from the board as well as you, Martha, to do that.
That is fine with me as long as it's not on a Sunday when we are closed. I'll check with Amy and refer that to her. But as long as the board approves that, that is fine with us if they want to use a room.
Okay, thank you. So it's time then.
Alderwoman Tapman. Alderwoman Tapman, your hands up.
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Just gonna ignore me.
I think Alderwoman West was still speaking, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you still? I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Yes, I was. Thank you. I was going to ask now for permission to move to, I moved to reserve a room at the rec center to item
I'm sorry, but you got to put that under new business. You got to put that under new business.
Why is that?
Because you can't interject a motion that is not on the agenda and have it voted on.
Okay, I'm going to accept that because I don't want to keep arguing. Thank you.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Two things. I don't know if the rec center is aware that they still have Black History Month. I think I went out on the call. I might have had technology difficulties, but I believe that Black History will not be taking place in February this year, if you have it on your literature somewhere. And at this time, I would like to make a motion to put the approval of the room designation on the next agenda under new business.
Okay.
The toys for Tot.
I will make
Alderman
a,
Reed. Alderman Reed.
Go ahead, Martha. I think you were talking though before I
Oh,
started.
I'm sorry.
In the middle of my motion, so somebody had to check.
There's a point of order. Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott's made a motion, so we need to
second.
address that. I believe that.
Right, and we understand that. And so I was assuming that Alderwoman Reed was going to second their motion. Her hand is up.
No, I actually wasn't, but I'll go ahead and
You're not?
second it.
Okay, then. Are there any further discussion?
I think Martha was saying something to it, Mayor. I think Martha was still commenting on something.
I'm sorry, go right ahead, Martha.
I was just saying that in reference to the Black History Month, that we will take away all the notification of it that we can, like off the signboard, if you'd like. You know, as long as it's not in print that's already out. I'll talk to Amy about that and make sure.
When is the next newsletter due?
I would have to check with Amy about that.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Any further discussion? Alderwoman Diaz.
Yes, Mayor, the Black History Committee just met last week, and we'll be sending out notification. I stated in my last comment, last meeting, that we are moving the Black History celebration to Juneteenth in June. But once we continue on with our planning, we'll give the board and the rec center more information.
Mayor, I had went out on that meeting, like my technology messed up. Did the board approve the change? Did the board approve the change in events?
The change in what even? I'm sorry.
From Black History to Juneteenth.
I don't know.
The board, I can answer that, Mayor.
Go right ahead.
The board has never interfered with any type of event since I've been on the board. And we do have an inclement weather date. And because we're dealing with COVID, we cannot be in the inside. So after we continue, the group continues to meet and we put our date up for Juneteenth, we will notify the board and the rec center.
Since I've been on the board, we have approved events that were budget line items. So is this
Mayor, point of order?
A budget line item? I'm just curious.
Point of order, Mayor.
What's your point of order?
The motion is to place the room approval on the next agenda. No, we're starting to talk about Black history and all of that. So can we go on with any further discussion on this motion and a vote?
Thank you.
Well, your point of order is well taken. So all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposers? Ayes have it, so ordered.
Mayor, I'm sorry. I had initially had my hand up for, thank you. I had two questions. Martha had mentioned that the rec center is closed on Sundays. I didn't know that. I thought the rec center was open on Sundays.
We used to be open on Sundays, but when COVID hit, we did not open, mainly because we're not allowed to have room reservations and it's just not cost effective to be paying employees when we can't even reserve rooms, when the participation for everything else is down. So we decided to not open on Sundays until at least the guidelines have been lifted through the county that we can start reserving rooms more regularly. It's just not cost effective, and also where we don't have enough staff to cover the whole weekend as well.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know that. So that's just good to know. I didn't see it anywhere that we were closed on Sundays. And also about the room, are we asking about the room so it is of no cost for the Toys for Tots event? I guess that's really with Alderwoman West. I just wanted to understand that. I know it'll be on her next time.
Right, at no cost.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. All right, we'll move down now to planning and zoning.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Planning and zoning will hold an in-person meeting on Monday, November 9th at City Hall. Masks will be required and social distancing will be practiced. Topics to be included will be a review of a proposed change at 9266 Lewis and Clark. That's the old Regions drive-through bank. If the applicant is present, and also to discuss a preliminary food truck ordinance. A hearing for a proposed in-home child care at 9961 Northampton will take place at the next board meeting on Thursday, the 19th. This is not planning and zoning, but if the mayor would allow me, I'd like to speak a little bit how we might be able to make repairs to our outdoor pool using funds that we already have budgeted for it.
Go right ahead.
Thank you.
You may.
As everybody knows, we weren't able to open our outdoor pool this year because it needs some pretty substantial repairs. It has a PebbleTech plaster interior finish that has reached the end of its useful life, and patching it like we used to do in the past isn't practical anymore. Parts of the interior finish are coming off the concrete shell in pretty large pieces. Also, the VGB drains in the deep end of the lap pool are elevated to where the last 3 inches or so of water does not drain out of them. Those drains were retrofitted years ago to the pool to be in compliance with the Virginia Graham Baker Act of 2008. The St. Louis Department of Health would like us to make those better than what they are right now. A good deal of investigation was done over the summer about resurfacing methods for pools. We discussed with various material vendors and specialty contractors. We discussed with the city of Florissant how they handle their pool resurfacing. And again, with Erica Murphy with St. Louis County Department of Health, we were able to obtain some credible bids and estimations indicating the repairs sufficient for reopening can be performed with the $150,000 already budgeted for this work. It doesn't appear that grant funds will be needed to reopen the pool and return it to service next year, 2021. This work, should we go forward, will uncover concealed damage. So much of the work is to prep the interior of the pool for a new finish. And there's areas that we just can't see through yet, and there's going to be some discovery. A significant portion of the total project cost has been estimated conservatively to address and repair the concealed damage. There is a possibility it could be in excess of our estimates and budget, but by comments by contractors we spoke with and who have visited the site, exceeding our budget seems to be a low probability. Again, this is based on comments by people whose business is pool restoration. We're suggesting that we issue updated requests for quotes, RFQs, to the 3 contractors we spoke with, have all bids sent to the city clerk. She can open and record them and then forward them to the city engineer for his review and analysis. They are technical in nature. Comparing apples to apples will take a little bit of time. Once that's done, he can present his recommendations to the board and vote on the matter to either accept or reject the recommendations. And in doing so in this way, we would be complying with section 2-256 of the city code, which is purchasing procedures on items over $10,000. Since the work is technical in nature, section 2-257, having to do with sole source, specialized, and non-standard items, that would also apply. The reason for stating this to everyone is this is going to take some time. It's going to take some effort. And I believe that most, if not all people, including those on the board, would be for this. But if there's any objections to this, rather than spend more time on this, it would be helpful to know now. Would going forward in this way be acceptable?
Okay. Are there any response? Oh, I'm sorry. Alderman Carroll. Alderman Carroll, is that your?
That ain't me. I ain't got nobody back here screaming.
Okay. Well, Alderwoman West.
She's
got a
called.
hand.
That's me. No, it's me. I thought you were referring to the background noise. No, I would be in favor of this, but I would prefer to have the bids open during the board meetings in public, so everybody could witness, participate, whatever you want to call it, in that process.
Okay. All right. Alderwoman Reed.
I was going to make a motion for to have the chairman of planning and zoning to move forward with the bid process for the pools.
Well, we'd have to motion that at the next meeting. Now you can kind of do something about common consent, because that pool is going to have to be dealt with, and we don't want to.
I'm saying for him to move forward with what he just said.
Okay, just don't object.
No, I said motion for him to proceed. He said how I want to know before I go forward how the majority of the board feels. So what he said sounds good to me. So I wanted to vote on it with the rest of the board to see if that's how everyone feels. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense, but what I'm saying is that we're not putting motions on the floor that was not put on there in advance. They go on.
Okay, so then I can motion to have this
Let me finish.
on the next agenda, right?
Would you let me finish?
Okay, go ahead.
You put it on a new business, and it goes on the next agenda. Is how that should be handled. But I'm sure there are no objections for them to continue to move forward as they are. I'm just not sure, but we don't want to do a motion tonight on that. It goes on a new business, and it'll be on the agenda for the next board meeting, and we will proceed.
Okay, so for a point of clarity, so does the city clerk already know to put that on new business for the next meeting? Because there's nothing we as the board have to do but to say, go ahead at this point. But how do we get her to put it on the agenda then? Do we do it now via a motion, or does she just do it?
Now we'll just put the project and on the agenda for next month.
Okay.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, for a point of clarification, as the purchasing director, are you approving that he move forward? Because that's the part that you are responsible for. We don't have to vote on the part that you're responsible for. So the ordinance says that the city administrator does the RFP and RFQ. So if you are getting assistance from someone to do that, is that what you are saying you're doing? You're getting assistance from someone to facilitate that process?
Well, what I'm doing is working with the department heads to move forward. And
Okay.
when it comes down to approval of monies and that kind of thing, then the board will bring that to the board and for the board to approve.
Okay, so then that will be the proper process. So
Mhm.
as long as it's within the budget, but I would be asking you later in your mayor's report about the community development block grant that was also supposed to be targeted for that use. So if you are doing your part, then when it comes to us, then we'll be ready to approve it based on how the bid is supposed to be open per our ordinance in the last meeting we had.
All right, that sounds good to me. Alderwoman Elliott, I'm sorry, Alderwoman Dales.
Mayor, I'd like to know before we move on to approval of invoices over 500, the youth commission chair would like to know if she can speak.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, wait just one second. Would you wait 1 minute for me, please? Pat, does that end your report?
It does, and thank you for allowing me to speak.
Sure. All right, then we'll go back to the youth commission.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello.
I just wanted to let everyone know that the Youth Commission did not meet last month, so there is no report to report, which was given to the city clerk. We did not meet due to several different members being under the weather. We plan to meet next month. Scheduled time, same day. Third Monday of every Monday, 7 p.m.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Approval of invoices over 500. Alderwoman Dales.
I apologize, Mayor. I don't have my hand up for that. I'm sorry.
Okay. Approval of invoices over 500. I see no hand up, so somebody need Alderwoman West, Alderman Carroll. You're muted.
I'm typing in the motion right now.
Go right ahead.
I move to approve the invoices over 500.
Is there a second?
Christian second.
Any further discussion? Call a roll.
Alderwoman West,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed. Reed,
I'm sorry, I didn't get any, so I abstain.
okay.
Keep calling the roll.
Alderwoman Tapman. Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderman Christian,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
Yes.
All yes and one abstain, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. Chief's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am going to begin with the first two inquiries from the public open at the beginning. I wanted to start off with Mr. Green's question about metrics and driving behavior. The metrics truly used in measuring your driving behavior is actually measuring what motorists do when the police aren't present. So it's not tickets, it's not the number of accidents, and it's not the number of stops. The best thing for measuring in terms of metrics, if to determine how successful the police have been in during motorist contact campaigns would be like a traffic speed timing system. They make pneumatic road cable systems. It's two cables set far apart, and it measures the time it takes the vehicle to travel the distance between those two cables. So basically the mathematical formula is distance traveled between the two cables, how much time it takes equals the vehicle speed. Unfortunately, we and the city in general do not have equipment like that. However, I can tell you this, motorist contacts have increased exponentially. I do not have numbers before me. They will be in my report when it is provided at the following meeting. And just to remind everybody, all of our motorist contacts are made for probable cause, and the merits of the traffic stop are managed based on those merits only. To address, there was another question concerning investigations. I was not involved in anything to do with resolution number 2020-09. But as a police chief and being a police officer for 25 years, we have an investigations policy, just to give everyone kind of an overview of how investigations on our end are conducted. If we receive a complaint from, we'll just do individuals, not use titles or anything. If we receive a complaint concerning an employee or someone that I have scope of control over, we conduct an internal investigation. Now, depending on the degree of the severity of the complaint, let's say it's pretty serious, we conduct recorded interviews, we take written statements, we collect evidence. It's almost like investigating a crime. We put it together as a package, and then the internal affairs investigator writes a written summary, presents it to me. It's a fact-finding mission to determine, for me to read and determine whether or not the complaint can be sustained, is not sustained, whether or not if it did occur or not. So there's quite a few dispositions that it could result in, but it's all based on that fact-finding mission. And if it's true, and then it goes into, what remedies are sought and implemented after that. But that's how we conduct ours. It's extremely thorough. If anyone's been following St. Louis County and their council and what they've been doing recently, back in, see the date of the document I have is October 22nd. I received some correspondence from the St. Louis County Council. They had passed St. Louis County Resolution number 6614 that they adopted on October 19th. The resolution, in short, addresses hiring practices in police departments. The resolution closes with that the document would be sent to law enforcement leadership across the St. Louis County area, municipal departments, mind you, in an effort to encourage us to adopt these policies within our police department. Two things. Our police department has been certified since 2006. Our hiring practices far exceed what their resolution actually requests us to do. For commissioned police officers, there's a written aptitude test. There is a police and a community oral panel interview. There is a thorough background investigation. There is an interview with the mayor and I separately. Then if the mayor decides to further that candidate in the process, you give a conditional offer of employment. At that point, they are notified of what they need to complete to receive the job in full, and that's psychological and medical evaluations, and to include drug screening and a physical ability assessment. We do something similar for civilian hiring process. Just like the police, we require an application and a resume. If I didn't mention that before, we do an interview with police department staff. We do a thorough background investigation. It's not just a fingerprint background search. We go knocking on doors and researching people's history because they're going to be handling confidential information. There's an interview with the mayor and I separately. And then if the mayor agrees to further that person in the process, they are given a conditional offer of employment, and they just need to complete a employment drug screening at that point. So we do have thorough processes that we do use when hiring police department employees. The CARES Act Municipal Relief Program, I had mentioned in a previous meeting that everything had been turned in concerning phase 1, and any supplements to phase 1 had been completed by, I believe, October 16th. Is the treasurer present for this meeting this evening?
The treasurer is not here.
I don't know if he's here, but I can tell you, we received that first half today.
Oh, you did receive it today? Okay. You must, that's good, because my inquiry, I was actually with you, Mayor. My inquiry at the time, we had not received it. So it has been deposited, the first 50%. Okay, that's good. So I need not explain any further on that. The board and the public has heard me talk off and on about CJIS as the Criminal Justice Information Service. It's a federal program mandated by anybody handling law enforcement information, specifically the police and the courts. We have our annual audit coming up on December 3rd, and some of the things that they look at is the physical security of our building. You know, do we have door codes? Do we limit access to important areas where confidential information is stored? They inspect PC terminal maintenance. They look at the CJIS file validations for employees. So they have to sign off on a CJIS form every year, basically to agreeing to the terms of the CJIS agreement. And they also do a spot inspection of our confidential records management and maintenance systems to make sure that we are taking care of information properly per their standards. The last couple things I'm going to close with, and this first item was just received today, so there was no chance to get it on the agenda. The backup battery for the server for City Hall and the police department for that entire building, according to IT, it is beginning to fail. We sent out, actually, I'm sorry, I received this yesterday. We sent out 3 quotes, 3 quote inquiries to 3 different companies for a replacement. 2 of which did not respond, which I was surprised. These are large companies. One did respond with a price of $984.98. I'm going to try to get 2 other quotes, but I will be submitting this for consideration during the next board meeting. That would be an expense that would come out of the Regis admin city account. Number 2, I'll be submitting a request for approval of funds in the amount of $1,610 for CPR and AED and first responder first aid training. The police department recertifies in this program every 2 years. There are no other providers that we could find as of the time that we requested this. One trainer was injured, and the other company is no longer existing. So, and we couldn't find anybody beyond that. But I did a comparison the last 2 years. I'm sorry, the last several years. In 2018, we paid $1,788, and in 2016, we paid $472. So the price presented for this, which I'll submit at the next meeting, $1,610 is the median price actually between the two over the last 4 years. Aside from that, are there any questions? Thank you, Mayor. That is my report.
Alderman Carroll, did you have your hand up? Alderman
Yeah, I
Carroll.
got a question. Regarding psychological evaluations, is that only done at the time of hire, or is that done periodically throughout employment?
Okay, so there are two conditions where, actually, sorry, three conditions where a psychological evaluation, and I'm going to throw in therapy as well, because those are two different issues. So prior to being hired, you take a psychological exam, and it's not necessarily a pass-fail psychological exam. The results of the exam actually measure the liability anticipated to the city, low, medium, or high. It does come with a full report as to the explanation as to why. If an employee is involved in a traumatic incident, let's say they're involved in a shooting, and I've done this before, I've sent them for a psychological examination, because that serves one purpose. I want to know where they're at psychologically, and I also send them to therapy, mandated as many sessions as needed, until there is what I consider from the doctor, from the psychologist, from the psych, and the therapist as to whether they're fit for duty to return to work. So there are different sets of conditions aside from the hiring process where a psychological examination and or therapy would be mandated for an employee.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, Chief. I wanted to ask, I know we kind of talked about this before. Were you going to include the random drug testing in your procedures for your officers? Or what did you say about the drug testing that you did?
All right. So are you talking about for hiring?
No.
Or are you talking about just in general? The random? Okay. So the random drug testing policy is governed by the city, not by the police department. So when I brought up discussion about random drug testing, I suggested that the random drug testing policy for all city employees be reviewed and revised to include certain things. For example, it does not test for alcohol. It does not test employees other than the ones who are permitted to drive city vehicles. I think there are some losses there if during the random drug testing, if we're not screening randomly all of our employees of the city, instead of just a certain segment and only for certain things. Now, mind you, if you know anything about drug testing, we can test for whatever we want. It depends on how much you want to pay. So I know we test for the standard stuff like methamphetamines and marijuana and so forth, the very common stuff. But for some reason, we do not test for alcohol. And I never understood why. So that was just my recommendation and suggestion to the board.
Okay. Are you aware of the approval for all police to do the implicit and de-escalation training? That's
correct.
So is that something that, is it going to be a particular institution you all go to, or would you be able to facilitate that through someone coming in? What is that going to look like that you're aware of?
We've been doing implicit bias training for years. It's mandatory once a year. If not more than that. For example, it may be used as a disciplinary measure, training as a form of discipline if we perceive a problem with an employee. But all employees do complete an implicit bias course every year, all commissioned police officers.
Okay.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome, Mr. Mayor.
City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
I was asked by the mayor and Alderman Thomas to take a look at the indenture of trust for Sherwood Hills. Since that matter is on the agenda under new business, I will defer any comments that I may have until that time. So I have nothing further at this time, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Family Dollar liquor license. Who's going to address that? Lead the discussion. Is Kathy on?
No, sir, she's not on.
Okay. Well, let me just share with all of you that this has been on the agenda for 2 or 3 meetings at least. This is an issue that we need to put to rest. Either you approve or disapprove, and not allow this to keep lingering on. So it's on the agenda.
Yeah.
So somebody got their hand up?
Yeah, Ms.
Okay.
Broussard is on.
Yeah, she's on now.
She's on.
She's on?
Yeah.
Okay then.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
All right then. Would you proceed with that, please?
Okay, good evening, everyone. At the last meeting, it was the Family Dollar was on the agenda to be approved. At the time, I gave my recommendation to move forward and for the board to approve. So at this point in time, as the mayor says, it keeps popping up. I have nothing further to say. I said go forward. It has to be approved by the board. So that's where we're at right now. So if there's a reason why the board is not going to approve, then someone needs to say something. But at this point, I feel it's out of my hands because I've moved it forward. I've sent the email to Dr. Yvonne, letting her know that it's been reviewed by Attorney Dorothy White Coleman, and everything's been looked at and we're ready to move forward. So at this point, it's out of my hands and I'm moving it forward for the board to approve.
So my understanding was that we did not approve because there was not a certainty that process had taken place. So right now, collector, you're saying that everything has been approved and is has met our ordinances for us to vote on it.
Right, as I mentioned last week, last meeting, you asked the same question, and I explained to you that it has been reviewed. The ordinances have been looked over. We've turned it over to Attorney Dorothy White to second set of eyes to get a legal perspective. Everything looks good. She has sent that email and included me on it to all the aldermen men and women, and explained her position and said that we're ready to go. So I'm not exactly sure what the holdup is now because again, at the last meeting, I said it's been reviewed. If there's something that someone knows that I don't know, based on looking at the ordinances, looking at talking to the attorney, then someone needs to let me know. But at this point, as I mentioned, we need to move forward and there needs to be a vote on it. If it's not going to be voted on, then someone needs to explain why, because it's out of my hands. I give my recommendation and it has to be approved by the board, and that's where it's at right now.
Okay, I didn't get a strong recommendation from the last meeting that you were confident that it had been approved based on the whole discussion about signing the stuff and reviewing it. The man said he was talking to somebody other than you. So I don't think we had a clear understanding that you had completed your process and was ready for us to move forward. So
I think I did say, let's move forward. So I'm not exactly sure where the disconnect was. And I also sent you an email because you questioned it before the meeting. And I said that everything was in place and it's ready to move forward and approved.
Alderman Dales.
Alderwoman.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Alderwoman Dales.
okay, I'll make a motion to approve the liquor license for Family Dollar, and I would like a roll call vote.
Alderman Carroll, is that you?
No, I'm not seconding that.
Alderwoman West second.
I beg your pardon?
Alderwoman West.
What are you doing? I can't hear you.
Alderwoman West seconded.
Oh, okay then. Any further discussion?
I got a discussion.
Yes, go right ahead.
I brought this up at the last board, when the first time we talked about this. I don't think that liquor license application is in compliance with state statute because the managing officer or whatever is not a resident of St. Louis County. He's a resident of Jefferson County. And unless that's changed, Michael, whatever his name is, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Unless that's changed, that doesn't comply with state statute. It might comply with our ordinances, but it doesn't comply with state statute. And I talked to Attorney White Coleman about that, and I think she verified that was correct. So moving forward, I don't think we need to be moving forward with this until Family Dollar designates a managing officer who's a resident of St. Louis County.
Are there any further discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have a yes.
Go right ahead.
Mayor, I have a comment. I think because we have never asked for individuals to live here in the city, and if our city collector is stating that everything is in order, I think it would be very discriminatory against Family Dollar for us not to vote for that, which we'll be setting ourselves up for another lawsuit. And I would like for the attorney to comment on that.
Alderwoman Tatman.
I concur with Alderman Carroll because even though we don't have it on our books, our local laws do not supersede state law, and state law does require that that person live in St. Louis County or in the jurisdiction where they're asking for licensing. Family Dollar actually is having the same conundrum all across the board where they're trying to get liquor license. Everybody is stating state statute. So they are struggling right now because they're trying to put to add these liquor licenses where they don't have the proper jurisdictions according to state statute. So I would concur with Alderman Carroll that we need to caution and put a pause on this until Family Dollar concurs with the state statute. Then we have to follow whatever the state statute is.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Thank you. That goes back to the point that I was making. If all of those things have not been checked and it can be told to us that they have met everything, then we can't move forward. So it's still a hindrance on the part of the process of reviewing, because we shouldn't get here and an alderman has to say it's not meeting state statute. That's the part that has to be done on our behalf. And then we know that it has been done and then we vote on it. So it shouldn't even be on the agenda for until that happens. So
Mayor?
Why I keep getting on the agenda, I'm not sure. So I'm thinking, Mayor, you putting it on there because nobody else has requested it.
Mayor, can I say something?
Yes, please.
Attorney Dorothy White, if you can correct me, the email was sent out to all the board explaining everything, and that piece that she had mentioned, I'm not going to go into details with it, but she sent an email, and the email was sent several, I guess about a month or two ago, and no one has said anything about that. So I'm just kind of confused because it didn't seem like it was an issue, and it was that we could go along with the recommendation, but it wasn't that it was written in stone. So I'm kind of confused that the email was sent out to all of you and no one it responded, and I was CC'd on it, and no one responded to her email. So and even it was up to that point last month when the email had went out and I wasn't even included on it yet. So you guys got the information before me. And again, no one has said anything about it up until now.
If I may respond,
Yes, please.
Because
You may respond.
that is accurate. The question that was raised at the first meeting, I believe, where Family Dollar appeared on the agenda, was addressed on or about September 30th. And there is a requirement that the managing officer reside in the same county, town, city, or village as the licensee's premises. That requirement can be met by designating someone who does reside in the locale in question. But Ms. Broussard is correct. The question was addressed some time ago.
All right. Alderman Carroll.
Mayor, this is for the attorney. So has Family Dollar designated a different person that lives in St. Louis County?
I have not been involved.
Okay. So according, well, based on your knowledge, then the application for the liquor license, the Family Dollar liquor license, is what we received, a month and a half ago when this first came before us. And Michael, I do not know how to pronounce that man's last name, but whoever the managing officer is not a resident of St. Louis County. Is that correct according to your understanding?
Based on the application that I saw, which is the same one that everyone else has, yes. That is correct.
Thank you so much.
Alderwoman Tapman.
And I think that's what we were putting forth, because since Family Dollar has not met the criteria that we've asked, he's been present, 3 times? And the criteria hasn't been met. We need to go ahead and vote since they have not met the criteria, and our vote keeping that in mind, and get it off the agenda until they then come into compliance in what's needed. So I thought that's why we're putting it on there, so we can move ahead, because it seems like we gave him all the information each time, and all of the steps have not been met. So I think we need to vote, keeping in mind it's not a resolved issue and it does not meet state statute.
Okay. There are several more hands that went up, but we need to bring this discussion to a close and vote it up or down, and so we can move to the next item. So Alderman Reed, your hand is up.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, Mayor, I lost track too. Was this motion already second?
Yes.
Okay.
We're in discussion now.
So we can't amend it. Okay, so then I guess we have to vote on it and then
No, it
Okay.
can be amended now, when it's seconded.
Just vote it up or down and quit messing with the stuff.
Right, I mean, but then let's just go ahead and vote on that one, so then we can then do a new motion.
If you,
Whatever.
No, I'm saying that it can be amended right now if you want to amend it.
Alderman Reed, I'll take it down if you want to make the motion with an amendment.
We need to vote on this one and then come back.
That's not how it works. She can
We
amend
need to
it
vote
right-
on it.
No, she can amend it right now.
we're discussing it, and the next move is to vote up or down.
Mayor, can we just point of order, go ahead and vote on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who said point of order?
Let's just do a roll call vote, Mayor, if you would do that. I
No,
did. Can we
you
just
can't do it over.
go ahead and vote?
Just, you're not to vote on, you gotta vote on it now if you're gonna vote.
Yeah, that's what she
Vote
said.
it up or down. Vote
That's
yea
what
or
I'm-
nay.
It's clearly what I'm saying.
It's your privilege. It's your privilege to do it.
Yes, sir.
Vote it up or down,
Okay.
and we'll start all over.
Roll call.
I'm asking you to call for the roll call vote, Mayor. I don't know if you're hearing me clearly or
No, I
not.
didn't hear you. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. I apologize for
What
that.
I asked.
I apologize. You want me to get down on my knees and?
No, I do not. I just want you to call for the roll call vote.
Thank you. Roll call vote. Roll call.
Alderwoman West,
No.
Alderwoman Reed,
No.
Alderwoman Tapman,
No.
Alderman Carroll,
No.
Alderman Christian,
Yes.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott,
No.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
No.
6 no and 2 yes, Mayor.
Okay, so that's how the motion is. So let's put the rest until something new come up. New business, resolution 20-7.
It's
Mayor, I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
get
my God.
clear. Did that motion fail or pass?
It failed.
Motion failed.
Okay, thank you.
Alderman Thomas.
Alderman Thomas, I'd like to read resolution number 2020-07. A resolution establishing the City of Belle Fountain Neighbors support to apply for the STP grant, excuse me, for Shepley Road. Whereas the City of Belle Fountain Neighbors, Missouri is an incorporated municipality in St. Louis County and Shepley Road located in the city and is in need of resurfacing. And whereas City of Belle Fountain Neighbors agrees to move this project forward collaboratively and support it financially upon selection by East West Gateway, MoDOT, and support the project through completion with a tentative schedule end date of 2025. And whereas the City of Belle Fountain Neighbors recognizes the members of the current board may not maintain their current status as an elected official throughout the duration of the project. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Alderpersons for the City of Belle Fountain Neighbors as follows. Be it further resolved that the Board of Alderpersons of the City of Belle Fountain Neighbors, that any elected official who is elected after this resolution is passed, honors the project and the financial obligations through to completion as established.
Alderman Dales.
I would like to second that for the second reading.
All right, it is seconded and then moved to the second reading. If based
Point
on-
of order, Mayor, we don't need to do a second reading on a resolution.
Whatever. All in favor?
Well, it's a point of order, we're on the discussion
roll.
right now.
On the
Mayor,
discussion.
We're on the discussion right now.
Discussion.
All right, are there any discussion?
Is my hand up?
I see Alderwoman Elliott's hand.
Okay, we did not get any amended resolutions for that. I know that Alderman Thomas was going to make some changes to it. Additionally, I had requested a quote of expenses to know what the line item would be based on what was presented to us last year, and I didn't receive that either. So we only have the original resolution and the language that was there. We did not get a revised one in our packet, and I didn't see a quote of the potential expenses that was presented the last time.
Okay, Mayor, I'm sorry, Alderwoman. Yes, what you have in your packet this time, those are the revised ones.
Okay.
There was language removed from the initial ones. So
Okay.
these two are the revised ones.
Okay, so it still says that future all the people will be responsible. I thought we had talked about that coming on.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, yeah, you would know. Yeah, but I didn't see any quotes for the project to know what our potential budget expense would be.
Alderman Thomas, did you?
Yes, I raised my hand when I believe it was brought up in the last meeting that projects have been approved by previous boards that we are still, that we are supporting at this time. I'm not specific of what they are, but I believe in the past, this resolution or projects can be voted on prior to another administration. And it's up to that administration to accept that burden or to accept that responsibility on the next administration. That's all I have.
Alderman Carroll, Alderwoman West.
Yes. Basically, it's saying the resolution states it's the Shepley project. Can you explain to me exactly what that entails?
It's the rebuild the Shepley Street. That's
So what do you mean by rebuild?
Resurface.
Excuse me, I am speaking to the mayor, please.
Well,
I would like his response. Thank you.
I was just
helping.
helping.
Mayor, but I don't want you to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman West.
You're quite welcome, Alderman
All right.
Thomas.
All
Love
right.
you. So, Mayor, what do you mean by rebuild the street?
It's the resurface. It's the resurface street because the street is all tore up. That's what it means.
Well, but when you say Shepley project, it brings to mind just not resurfacing, because to me, if that were the case, you would just simply say to resurface the street. But when you say it's a project, to me that entails a little bit more than just resurfacing. In addition to that, I recall when Mr. Robinson first came to the board, and my question to him was, how did you select Shepley out of all the streets in Bellefontaine Neighbors? And asked him, was he a resident? He said no, he was a former resident, but he stated he drives the streets of Bellefontaine Neighbors periodically, and this is how he chose Shepley. Well, we've had several alder people as well as residents who have voiced their concern about the condition of their streets in their ward. And so again, I am concerned, number one, with why Shepley was chosen. Number two, looking at the resolution, it's like a blank check, giving him a blank check to do whatever he chooses to do whenever he chooses to do it. There's no amount of money for writing the grant. Most of the grants have been closed at this point. And there's some more I really want to ask, but I'll wait until the next board meeting to bring it up again. But I'm just really concerned about this street and just saying that it needs resurfacing, because in my opinion, again, if that is the case, then the resolution should state resurfacing. So that's my concern. Thank you.
Well, it is my understanding that Shepley is the only street left that qualifies for this grant.
And where did you get that information?
I guess the same place you got yours.
No, you don't know where I get my information from. So,
Reed.
you know, it's not time to be smart. I am trying to get some answers.
No, you concerned because I live on Shepley. You've already stated that before. And so there are other people live on Shepley other than me.
I am trying to get to the.
We represent the total city.
I don't need to. What you need to understand is that because
they
you
live on
are
the same street that I live on.
okay. I tell you what, you just wait on it. Now I'll leave it at that.
Alderwoman Reed.
Since you seem to think that I'm just.
Thanks, Mayor. I guess I have 3 questions. It's like, I guess 3 statements why I'm not in support of the resolution. It does not say who is going to be heading it up, be responsible for it. It does not say when it will start. And again, it does not say how much it will be for. So if I'm going to hold people accountable for this, which I understand we do have projects that obviously will go over more than 1 year, but we need to know how much we will be obligating the city to, and when it would be starting, and who would be heading this project up. So that's my statement. Thank you.
Alderman Chapman.
Yeah.
Alderwoman Chapman, I'm sorry.
That's okay. The night is long. What I would like to recommend is for all of us, all of my colleagues, and all of us to look at past resolutions that were written concerning street projects, and also to look into, we do have a fund where there's still money allotted for street repairs that we have not visited. That's one of the things we could be working on. And if you look at the past resolutions, you won't find dollar amounts. I think it's listed on here that it would be East-West Gateway, but it seems at this point, the resolution is not going to go through. So I would like to recommend for us to study past resolutions that we have on our books, look at the language and how they were written, and to explore the monies that we have from the other grants. And this is the only street that qualifies for this particular grant, and we can determine at another time if we want to indulge in this project. But again, look at the other resolutions and we'll find that this resolution mirrors those. That's all.
Is Clayton Klein on the line?
Yes, sir.
Engineer Klein, could you address how these projects have been handled in the past?
He's muted.
Is he on there?
Yes, sir. He's muted though.
There we go. I've been on for 2 years, and the street projects were already done before I came on. The stuff that's been going on has been stuff that MSD has been, or the utilities have been doing. So we'd have to look to see exactly what is needed, and then come back and say we want to do X, and here's how we'll proceed with it. But I am not aware of how it was done in the past, so I'd have to look that up.
Okay, but I believe resolutions is permission to proceed. It does not commit any dollars to anything. Just proceed to seek grants for the project. Does that make any sense to any of the people who've been on longer than me? Okay, but we do have a motion. Madam Clerk, don't we have a motion on the floor?
Mayor, I got a question.
Sure, speak.
From my understanding, the East-West Gateway provides grants to the feeder streets in Bellefonte Neighbors, St. Cyr, Shepley, Coburg Lands, part of Ashbrook, I believe. These are all feeder streets that they, because the buses run on those feeder streets, so they make grants available to municipalities to maintain that. And from my understanding, and I could be wrong, it's an 80%. They provide 80% of the funding, and the city has to come up with 20% of the funding. And just a real quick comment regarding this resolution, I wouldn't be in favor, and I mentioned this at the last board meeting, to commit future board meetings to decisions that we're making tonight.
Madam Clerk, where we are with don't we have a motion and a second?
Okay, yes, Thomas read the resolution and Dale seconded.
All right, we'll end discussion. Call the roll.
Alderwoman Reed. Alderman Carroll.
No.
Alderwoman Dales.
Yes.
Alderman Thomas.
You're muted.
Yes.
Alderman Christian.
No.
Alderwoman West.
Absolutely not.
Alderwoman Avant Elliott.
No.
Alderwoman Tapman.
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed.
No.
All right.
Okay, you have 5 no and 3 yes.
Okay, let's proceed. Let's see, resolution number 2008, St. Louis County Municipal Park Grant. Alderwoman Tapman.
Mayor, I'm gonna acquiesce and not read that, so if someone else wants to read it.
I didn't understand you. What you say?
I said I'm gonna acquiesce and not read that if someone else wants to read it.
Okay. So we would just, Alderman Dales.
Well, I read it. A resolution establishing the City of Bellefonte Neighbors support to apply for the St. Louis County Municipal Parks Grant. Whereas the City of Bellefonte Neighbors, Missouri is an incorporated municipality in St. Louis County that has parks which serves its residents and surrounding communities. Whereas the park in the City of Bellefonte Neighbors are in need of major improvement and upgrade to facilitate the use by residents and other city parks. Whereas the City of Bellefonte Neighbors agrees to move this project forward collaboratively and support it financially upon the selection of the municipal parks commissions for planning grants and construction grants, and support the project through completion of with tentative schedules end date of 2023. And whereas the City of Bellefonte Neighbors recognize the members of the current board may not maintain their current status as elected officials throughout the duration of the project. Now, therefore, it be resolved the Board of Aldermen for the City of Bellefonte Neighbors as it follows. Be it further resolved that the Board of Alderpersons of the City of Bellefonte Neighbors, that any elected official who is elected after this resolution is passed honors the projects and the financial obligations through the completion as established.
Is there a second? Alderman West, Alderman Carroll.
Alderman Carroll seconds.
Any further discussion? Alderman Carroll.
Yeah, I got it. The same thing with this resolution. I don't agree with that language of holding future boards accountable or accountable and making them do things that we're deciding tonight. It might be a totally different board. They might get elected because residents are upset about the parks and they're coming on to make that change. And I don't think it's right to hold them to what we decide tonight.
Alderwoman Chapman.
Just a question. As we pass previous and present resolutions and or ordinances, we do so in order for those to be standards in our governmental records. So are we now saying that we're not going to pass any resolution that would be the standard in our governmental records, which means when the next board, the new board members come aboard, they don't have to adhere to. Whereas common practices have been when we pass resolutions and ordinances, those are the set standards that govern how the city is ran and how the legislative board goes. So I'm just, I don't understand what the consternation is in passing resolutions with language that says if we vote on a resolution that the next board that comes on will adhere to that resolution. If that's the case, we won't be able to pass any resolutions or it's just the language stating, even though that's a given, is it the language that's the hindrance because it states that, because it's a given that it happens anyway. I'm just trying to understand.
Alderwoman Elliott.
My thought is if it's a barrier by the consensus, it should just been removed. That resolves that. When is the due date for this, and what parks are the target parks, Mayor? When's the due date for the grant, and what are the target parks?
We didn't target a park.
So, Will, why would we be getting a grant without a target park?
Well, pass this resolution don't mean you're getting a grant.
I understand that, but I'm asking what would be the purpose of even trying to go after a grant application if there's not a particular project of interest? And do we have a situation where because we've applied for one recently that we may not be eligible to apply for it again? What is your understanding of that? I'm just talking to you because I'm just talking to you.
Okay, well, I'm not able to explain that to you. It's my understanding that you get in line and apply for these park grants and you identify projects. I don't think it's necessary to identify a project before you make the move to apply.
Okay. But do you know when the application date is for this one?
When is that application date? I don't know.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Tapman.
Alderman Carroll has his hand up before me. I'll correct him.
I beg your pardon?
Alderman Carroll had his hand raised before I did.
Oh, okay then. Alderman Carroll.
This is kind of to Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott's point. I think like this type of, I'm not against these grants. I'm against the language in the resolution. And additionally, I think like the process, what I would like to see is that it's our Parks and Recs board that, oh, we want to apply for a grant. I know that's not historically how it's been done, but I think we need to, that was one of the recommendations of the parliamentarian, is to like dole this work out to the commissions and committees and stuff like that. So we're not sitting here doing all the work. And I think that our Parks and Rec board needs to be, as the ordinance states, they need to be studying the parks and determining what improvements need to be made, and then coming to the board with a recommendation. Hey, we want to do this at Daughtery Park or whatever that park is at the very end of the city and stuff like that, and then we apply for the grant. From my understanding, these grants are done every year and they're due around this time of the year. I don't think they're done several times throughout the year. I think it's done once a year at this time too, so.
Cool. Take the
All right.
hand. Talking, I'll talk.
Alderwoman Chapman.
Yeah, I think this resolution, because we applied for a grant that we lost, because we lost $445,000 because we didn't have a proper resolution to go along with that process.
What is she talking about?
So I'm talking about the park grant that we lost for $445,000 because it was not a proper resolution that was signed by the mayor. That's what I'm talking about. And so I think if we go through the proper steps, because we just lost that grant, that if we go now, start all over, going through the proper steps and going to the board for us to vote on, and then have the mayor to sign it, that way we'll have proper documentation and won't be in the threat of losing another grant because of improper documentation and processes.
Alderwoman West.
Okay, I thought I was muted before, but anyway, thanks for answering the question, Alderwoman. First of all, resolutions do not have to be signed by the mayor. That's number one. Number two is that various grants have to be approved by MoDOT, ADA, etc. Nothing has been taken into consideration in regard to this. I agree with Alderman Carroll. A plan has to be developed first, that has to be submitted with all types of documents, and none of this stuff is being done, and we did not lose $40,000. The city of Belle Fountain neighbors lost a $500,000 grant because there are people who kept saying our meeting on August 12th was an illegal meeting. That's the main reason that grant was lost, and y'all can keep saying whatever it is y'all want to say, but that's the main reason that was lost. I put up money for that to try to save the city money. So we did not lose anything. Alderwoman West lost $1,750 because she was trying to save the city money so we could get that outdoor pool up and running. And we decided that, I made it known way back in like April or May, and then everybody had amnesia. Everybody got amnesia. Everybody wants to say I have ulterior motives. Well, my motives are to try to make things as best for this city as I possibly can. And everything I have done since I have been on this board, whether you agree with the way I talk or not, or represent myself, has been to improve this city. I don't know how many of you all can make that claim. Anybody can do an event. I do an event. But when you really want to make something done that's best for this city, you vote towards what's best for this city. You don't vote because you're friends with somebody else. You do it because it's what's best for this city. And even if you want to vote for your friend or with your friend, at least do some research first and stop trying to down people who are really trying to fight for what's best for this city. Thank you.
Alderwoman Chapman.
Just for clarification, I like grants, and I did do research. I have the grant, and I've talked to the person who is the administrator of the grant. The reason why the city lost $445,000 grant, number one, no legislator has the authority to pay a fee for a consultant, a contractor, anybody on behalf of the city. Number one. Number two, because there was a resolution that was a part of the application process that needed to be signed by the chief operating officer, which is the mayor, and it was not signed. Those were the reasons that were given by the chief operating officer who was over the grant application. So we don't have to belabor this. And hopefully when we apply for another grant, we'll go through the proper processes and procedures. It's just a learning process that we missed. And we just need to get over it and start all over again. No legislator has the responsibility or authority to pay for a consultant on behalf of the city. All of the amendments has to be in the packet with the grant. Everything they asked for has to be in there. And the major document was a resolution that needed to be signed by the mayor of the city, and that wasn't in the packet. So I'm done.
Alderwoman Elliott.
Yes, I see that our city engineer indicated that that grant will open up first round June 2021. So this is not even relevant at this time. I would like to make a motion to adjourn and to go into closed session per the approval of the agenda to have an end time at 9:30.
Have a what?
An end time at 9:30. Yes, the agenda has an end time at 9:30.
Yes.
It is 9:30. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So is there a second to your motion?
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposes?
Opposed.
Okay, so we're going into closed session.
I won't be in attendance for the closed session meeting.
I would like to make a motion to go into closed session for, hold on. I move for the board to go into closed session per section 610.0213, hiring, firing, discipline, or promoting employees who have to be a roll call vote.
Is there a second?
What is it about?
Alderman Carroll.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call.
Alderwoman Yvonne Elliott,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales, Alderman Christian.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Alderman Christian,
No.
Alderman Thomas,
Yes.
Alderman Carroll,
Yes.
Alderwoman Reed,
Yes.
Alderwoman Tapman.
Is this voting to go into closed session?
Yes.
I'm going to abstain because I'm not going to be present.
Abstain, okay. Alderwoman West,
Yes.
okay. All yes and one no, Mayor, and one abstain.
Okay. Good night, public. And well, hopefully it'll get better.
Okay.
See you in the next call. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, I'm signing off. Mayor,
Yes.
can we have a few, like 3 minutes? Before we let you go.
Yes, we can. I'm not, text me the new code for the special closed session meeting. Is the same?
No, it's
Yeah.
it's on that paper I gave.
I had it, but I don't see it now.
See, I don't.
Just text it to me.
Okay, let me call someone. City attorney? City attorney?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have that for the closed session?
Yes, I do.
Can you text it to the mayor, please?
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. I'm about to sign off now, Mayor, so I can get the other one going.
Okay.
All right.